And Angel Reese, after injuring her wrist last season, getting surgery on her injured wrist, has now injured her wrist again and looked in severe pain in the Rose win in Unrivaled.
Angel Reese left the court in tears, holding her injured wrist, raising concerns about whether she'll be ready for the start of next season. After having surgery on the same wrist, she's now wearing a brace on her shooting hand. Last season, when she was out for a month, it completely changed the team's approach and performance. With tough opponents like the Fever and Lynx coming up early next season, her absence could be a huge setback. To make matters worse, 40% of the league's players are already out with injuries, highlighting a much bigger problem than just one star player being hurt.
I just remember during the year when Angel Reese landed on her wrist, and then you can see her just kind of doing this, trying to get in and playing. And then it was oh, she faked a wrist injury. It wasn't real. And it's you can literally see where it happened in the game.
Angel was having an incredible game, grabbing rebounds and making plays like only she can, when suddenly her wrist, the same one that had already been through surgery, gave out once more.
Now, though Team Rose got the W, it's at what cost, okay? Angel Reese was she was giving me flashbacks, okay? I kept getting nightmares from last year, 2024 WNBA season, towards the end of the regular season, when Angel Reese had that hairline injury, fracture injury, whatever, to her wrist, okay? And she actually had to go to surgery, and it prematurely ended her career that season.
What makes this so heartbreaking is Angel's reaction. Her face showed pure agony, as if her own strength had let her down. At first, she tried to push through, staying on the court and playing through the pain. This isn't the first time we've seen this from her. Angel's a true fighter, always putting her team above everything else.
And she kept on grabbing at her wrist, and you could tell that she was in pain. She was doing this in the first quarter of tonight's Unrivaled League game. She was still moving and grooving, trying to make them layups. Again, she was doing her layups, okay? She had energy like the Energizer Bunny. Again, it was very apparent that she was in pain due to her wrist.
But this time, it was different. You could see it in every move, her grimace, the way she kept favoring the wrist until she couldn't hide it anymore. When she finally reached the bench, the emotion took over. There she was, one of the toughest players in basketball, clutching her wrist and holding back tears. It wasn't about a missed shot or a bad call. It was about the fear of her career slipping away.
Literally was footage of her on the bench holding her wrist in pain and looking almost angry. Look, people thought from looking at it that she was crying, and it's oh no.
Some viewers quickly took to the internet, claiming she was exaggerating, but medical experts who saw the footage pointed out all the clear signs of a serious re-injury.
See her in agony on the bench and claim it's a faked injury, and I don't know some of the mad stuff.
The way she cradled her wrist, her cautious body language, and that unmistakable look of recognition, when an athlete knows exactly what's happening and realizes, I've been here before, and I know how serious this could be. It's a moment of fear that can't be ignored.
It's a pity as well, because she's been killing it in Unrivaled.
The timing couldn't have been worse. Her team was in a tight game, one where Angel's rebounding could have made all the difference, yet she had to leave the court. Angel doesn't step off the court unless something serious is happening. Now, with a wrist brace on all the time, that tear-filled moment wasn't just about her pain. It hinted at a tough road ahead for her season and could change the course of the entire league.
If it was just nothing really, it would be one thing. But we're looking at a situation where it's been surgically repaired, and you're now seeing Angel Reese just walking around precautionary in a wrist brace, which isn't ideal. Which is absolutely not ideal, because it kind of almost seems the same as the first time it happened.
While everyone's focused on the brace, they're missing the real story. This isn't Angel's first rodeo with wrist surgery. That brace she's been wearing for over a week signals something is seriously wrong. When doctors see a player still wearing protective gear that long after an injury, they're planning for a potentially lengthy recovery process.
Anytime you have a surgery somewhere and you get injured again early on, it's not ideal. Especially your wrist. One positive thing is that she's not somebody that relies too much on shooting the ball. That is the main glaring weak point in her game, and she's still been a good player without that.
First, let's look at her previous recovery. Remember the injury back in September? She returned in November, taking about 2 months to recover from her first wrist surgery. Now, there's a bigger risk. Medical experts constantly warn that re-injuring the same area is trickier than the first injury. The tendons are already compromised, and the ligaments are weaker. This isn't just another injury. It's a ticking time bomb with less ability to heal and less structural strength. What makes this even more concerning is Angel's role on the court. She's a rebounding machine, and every time she grabs a board, she's putting huge pressure on those wrists. Every box out, every fall, every battle in the paint strains the very spot that's already been surgically repaired. It's like asking someone with a recently healed broken leg to start jumping hurdles.
Like, not having having a good shooting wrist is not ideal.
The recovery from wrist surgery isn't just about waiting for the pain to go away. It's a gradual process of rehabilitation, slowly rebuilding strength and carefully watching how the wrist reacts to more activity. If you rush through it, you risk causing permanent damage that could affect her career for good.
If it ends up being another injury, maybe not one that requires surgery, but another serious wrist injury, you're looking now at, I don't know, going into, say, May, June, for her to come back. And sorry, that first game of the season becomes significantly less relevant if Angel Reese is not there. And it's a pity as well, because she's been killing it in Unrivaled.
Given her previous recovery timeline, Angel could miss a significant chunk of next season. If she follows the same pattern as her last wrist injury, we might not see her back on the court until she's had a couple of months to heal properly. That could mean missing up to a quarter of the season or more.
We got a lot of things to do come May. We cannot afford to have Angel Reese sitting out in this upcoming season due to another injury.
What's especially telling is the extended use of the brace. When medical staff insist on her wearing it this long after the injury, it's clear they've seen something in their evaluations that has them concerned about long-term damage if she comes back too soon.
Last thing you want is another wrist injury from one after getting surgery. Because, look, the season's 2 months away.
The medical staff's concerns about re-injury aren't just about Angel's health. They're a sign of potential chaos for the entire WNBA schedule. The Chicago Sky are facing a nightmare scenario where their opening games, the ones that have fans eagerly buying tickets, might take place without the rebounding powerhouse who's key to making their whole system run.
I wonder what's going to happen for the Chicago Sky. Like, if she's not available to start the season. Imagine being one of the people that spent, like, I know it's not in Chicago, imagine being one of the people that spent all those money on tickets for Caitlin Clark and Reese and to not see the game.
Have you seen the Sky's opening schedule? It's brutal. The team is walking a tightrope without a safety net. Game 1 is against the Indiana Fever, featuring Caitlin Clark, the matchup everyone's been waiting for. Then, Game 2 is against the Minnesota Lynx, one of the league's powerhouse teams. This couldn't have come at a worse time for Chicago, especially with Angel potentially sidelined.
Is that at home? That's at home, so if you're the Sky, you're gonna want to be playing that game. You're really gonna want to play in that game or the first home game. And it could be a struggle because, again, I don't know how much a preseason she's going to be able to do.
These key matchups were strategically placed as must-see TV, especially that opening game between Angel and Caitlin Clark. Fans were eager to see this rivalry live. The timing couldn't be worse for Chicago. The hard truth is, the Sky's entire game plan depends on Angel's elite rebounding against these exact opponents. Without her, there's a huge gap that completely alters Chicago's chances. The Fever's front court and the Lynx's veteran lineup will take full advantage of this weakness if Angel isn't there to dominate the boards.
Like, she's gonna be hurt through a lot of the gap between now and the season. Like, it's just, again, how the body works. She's going to be hurt in that way. But, like, yeah, it is just one of those things with Unrivaled. Like, there's been a lot of injuries, whether it be injuries like that.
The Sky have no real replacement for Angel Reese, whose rebounding, defense, and offensive impact are unmatched. Her closest substitute only produces about half of her numbers. Without Reese, the Sky will have to completely rethink their strategy. Their defense depended on her to shut down second chance points, and their offense relied on her to secure extra possessions. Now, Coach Teresa Weatherspoon will need to adapt quickly for crucial matchups against the Fever and Lynx, focusing on team rebounding and finding ways to counter size disadvantages.
But like, yeah, it is just one of those things with Unrivaled. Like, there's been a lot of injuries, whether it be injuries like that. Like, nobody has a breeze what's wrong with Kate Martin. Like, Kate Martin just stepped away from the team halfway, like literally before the 1v1 break.